But the scares continue. But the fear proceeds to rise. This is the Venom month of horrors 2. Trapped in time.
Well, after the second Lost Boys flopped, many people criticised it for being nothing like the original, and the fact that Corey Feldman's character was merely in the background. So they went back to the drawing board, made Feldman the main focus, and tried one more time.
You serious?
Feldman himself wasn't even sure he'd participate in the film, as he was too busy at the time, but he soon agreed to return once again. Corey Haim was initially rumoured to appear in this as well, but he spoke out to say that he wouldn't be in it, but he hoped to be in part 4. Unfortunately, he would tragically pass away before the film's release, leading to some new scenes being shot to pay homage to the fallen actor. The movie tells the story of Edgar, who's now moved on from vampire hunting. Yeah, we get the grumpy old retired veteran who's now a reclusive hermit who tells everyone a piss off cliche, until he's confronted by a woman needing his help as her brother has been kidnapped by a horde of vampires who are distributing their blood, marketing it as a drug at raves, to build an army of half and potentially full vampires to rule the world.
I'm still not interested.
Unfortunately, much like its predecessor, this straight-to-DVD sequel was another bomb, making even less money than Part 2. However, it was supposed to be the first of a new trilogy, introducing werewolves, which was hinted at in the film's cliffhanger. It was also going to lead into a spin-off TV series, but unfortunately the studio responsible, Warner Premiere, ended up going bankrupt not long after the movie came out, and it was never meant to be. Though in 2021, a potential script for a 4th movie was possibly being worked on. But do we really need another one?
That would be a shame.
I mean, it's in another murder capital of the world. Jeez, that's just lazy. And in the first scene, the Frog Brothers, again played by Feldman and Newlander, who's now a vampire, burst in, but the nostalgic line of dialogue seems unnatural and forced.
Holy shit! It's the attack of Grandpa Munster!
They couldn't have done a second take. And this nostalgia theme does happen quite a few times.
You'll never grow old. You'll never die. But you must feed.
But then at other points, they use the dialogue from the original film really well.
This is not one of your books, Gwen. Everybody on this mission is a trained veteran. You could be killed. We are awesome monster bashers.
The meanest.
The baddest.
The movie goes for the nostalgia element throughout, and we get flashbacks to the first film as he visits Sam's grave and pays tribute to Corey Haim. But it doesn't really feel forced. It comes across as a really sweet message. Although later on, Feldman gets stabbed and we get a random flashback to Haim again, and this one just seems out of place. We also learn that Sam's family no longer talk to Edgar, which does make sense as he was forced to kill him as a vampire at the end of the last film. There's also a scene just 30 minutes in where some vampires randomly jump out of a plane and basically rip off the train track scene from the original. But we don't know these characters. This is our introduction, so it doesn't work. But they do trick us with some of the nostalgic music. Fair play. It kind of works. In fact, throughout the entire movie, the music and credits are pretty awesome. But why does Corey Feldman deliver every line so angrily and intensely?
This issue of Destroy All Vampires number 125 in nearly mint condition is worth $50 alone. Why would I care about a bunch of drug addicts? You gave me $65 for everything.
I'm going to the store to get some milk. To be fair, Edgar does come across as a completely broken and disheveled man in this, but they try way too hard to turn him into a big badass character like Stallone, and it doesn't work anymore. For the most part, he just looks like your weird uncle you sort of have to invite to the barbecue, but you don't really like him.
Aren't you gonna invite me in?
No, you're not invited.
Okay, that was kind of badass.
Vinyl still shreds.
And that. In the last film, Feldman was barely in it and just seemed to naturally be cool and badass. But here they try so hard. He's not even cool anymore. He just awkwardly stumbles in like, hey. And the dialogue is so bad.
Frog. Ugly.
All guns need a name. Like boats.
Boats are for sailors. Guns are for soldiers. And I'm no sailor.
Nice outfits.
That's funny. That's exactly what I was thinking.
You're right. The helmet is good.
especially when you pierce the heart.
But just to further add to our misery, they even play some of Feldman's own music. Haven't we suffered enough? I do like the idea of the blood being passed around, pretending it's a drug. At least this one is trying something new. It's almost like Lost Boys meets Resident Evil. I think it is quite a unique and creative idea. I just think they could have done more with it. This mindless vampire army thing doesn't really go anywhere.
He's breeding an undead army, and the only thing that stands between him and the annihilation of the entire human race, potentially, would be us.
Edgar asks his friend Zoe to try to prevent the outbreak if he doesn't make it out okay. And they should have really established this huge apocalypse, but they don't. It's a cool idea, just a missed opportunity. The leader of the vampire crew in this one is at least a hell of a lot more charismatic than Angus Sutherland, I'll give him that. There's also a subplot where Edgar is being evicted from his trailer if he doesn't pay rent, so an author shows up offering to pay him to rescue her brother, and he is still reluctant.
I sold her a copy of Destroy All Vampires, number 125, for $500.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's great. That should keep the bank off my butt for a while.
Wait, $500 saves eviction? That's like nothing. But at least we kind of get more of an understanding of where the other characters are now.
I guess that cancels out Michael and Star.
Yeah, I'm pretty much persona non grata with the entire Emerson family at this point.
Laddie?
He's moved on. He's got a wife.
And also, none of them wanted to come back. It turns out this author writes romantic vampire novels, and yeah, it's basically a jab towards Twilight. It's fucking hilarious.
Your books suck. You've got millions of emo goth sheep all over the world who eat up every last word of it. Keep coming back for more. You glorify vampirism. You make being a vampire look sexy. There's nothing sexy about being a member of the undead.
I beg to differ.
Did I mention I hated her books?
So do I.
For the love of God, why is he still using garlic when it was established it won't fucking work?
What is it? Holy water?
Mixed with a little garlic.
It doesn't fucking work! They literally say it! It's not even like it's subliminally mentioned, they literally say the words!
Garlic don't work, boys!
But you know what does work now? UV lights, apparently for some reason.
Guys, I can't hold them up forever!
Why not? It's quite literally just holding a torch. There's another character called Lars who Edgar is forced to work with to rescue her brother, but he's such a generic douchebag you know he is going to die. But at least we learned where Adeline's Horror World stole her intro from.
I'm Lars von Getz, but you already knew that.
But Lars is basically a fraud reality star.
He's amazing.
That was staged. All reality shows are staged.
Get it? Feldman had a reality show! He's actually a coward, but everyone thinks he's this amazing, brave being, so you can't wait until he dies to end this cliche we've seen a million times before.
So unlucky I wasn't there. I know exactly the counter curse that could have spared her.
But they acknowledge it's got cliches, so it's fine.
I kinda hate the fact that we split up. People in horror movies always split up, and they always get killed.
I can't lie though, Lars saves it. He is hilarious. He doesn't believe in vampires, and he is completely convinced that this is all just a reality show and that they're simply role-playing.
Using my tracking ability, we've located the nest of the vampires deep within this abandoned slaughterhouse. It's also haunted by cannibal pirates. It's built on an ancient Indian burial ground where they used to burn witches.
They even end up finding the brother Peter, but Lars doesn't want to save him yet.
It's too early to find him. We gotta find him at the end of the episode. I haven't even had the chance to put the beat down on any goths yet.
But he's right here.
Dude, turn around. Sorry, Peter. Let's go.
Okay, that is amazing. This character is hilarious. Until they rip off the Terminator, but hey, it still looks pretty cool.
Got it on tape though.
I'd like to see that when you get a chance.
You'd like that?
Thanks.
At least the effects look decent. The movie's production is really impressive, as well as some of the camera work. The issue is, none of it feels epic. They reach the vampire lair just 43 minutes in, and it just feels like a big nothing. It's not on this big grand scale like before. Hell, in the original, they were careful with who they sent into this dangerous vampire-infested lair. But here, any old fucker can go in. It's no big deal. But they do get a couple of laughs.
A promise ring.
virgins.
And of course, they just so happen to guess where this super secret rave is going to take place by pure chance. And this professional expert vampire hunter on the job for 30 years gets owned like a pussy straight away. Even the big final fight doesn't seem epic. The movie just seems pointless. It's just kind of a filler film to kill the time.
Do you know what the first rule of combat is? Yeah, don't monologue.
Cool line, but doesn't that technically also count as monologuing? Oh well, Alan returning to help is pretty cool. But who's the head vampire? Skip to this timestamp to avoid spoilers. So I guess after not doing a twist in the last one, they realise how stupid they were being, so the obvious vampire dies, and psych, it's her brother who's not really her brother all along. Okay, I must admit, I didn't see that coming.
This smells like garlic.
Garlic. You see. You're right at it. They were keeping him weak.
Except garlic doesn't work! We get a flashback to him recycling lines from the original, but it just doesn't have the same impact. But at least they try, bless him. I must say though, Peter is a truly evil antagonist. He made a promise to turn the author, but kills her anyway, and the performance is insane.
You didn't want to end up like Robert Neville, did you?
Robert who?
Robert Neville, the protagonist in I Am Legend. Last man on Earth in a world full of vampires.
He wants Edgar to continue killing vampires to keep the population to a minimum, so they still have plenty of humans to eat, which is a pretty cool idea, and the dialogue is insane.
Your brother's already one of us. Everyone you care about is either dead or playing for my team.
Why don't you go suck yourself?
But want to see quite possibly the coolest thing ever? Remember how Edgar said that he's an ordained minister?
What the fuck?
Unire, Resitia, Spiritus, Pestilence.
Fuck you!
Jesus Christ, that was amazing! This movie redeemed itself. Okay, it's not great, it's not even that good, but it's a huge step up from part 2. It's alright. Lars is hilarious, and there are some genuinely cool moments and some really great ideas in there. Unfortunately, it's also littered with lazy nostalgia, bad lines of dialogue, and a weird performance by Feldman. If you're a fan of the original, maybe it's worth seeing, but don't expect to get a huge amount of satisfaction out of it afterwards.